15 leases, one pre-construction deal, and 4 assignment listings in the span of 2 months. These are the results of Feroz Faruqi, a part-time agent based out of Toronto, Ontario. And in this session, you'll see exactly how he was able to accomplish that. Make sure to watch till the end of the video.
So yeah, I've been. So my name is Feroz Faruqi. I've been working in Canada for the last 7 years in different capacities. So I've been working for the past 7 years as design consultant for some of the developers across GTA and my the Montreal office. So that has been my full-time job in Toronto. And also for the last 1.5 years as real estate uh, salesman, just uh, advising clients on mostly pre-con property
Mhm.
and yeah, doing a bit of leases also. That I mean that gives me being coming from the design side of industry. It helped me going through this. I mean, the transition has been easy for me,
Mhm.
particularly. So yeah, that's me.
And then obviously, like, the fact that you work in architecture is obviously a massive asset. The other thing that I also know about you is you are yourself a real estate investor. You've gone through purchasing properties, right?
Right.
So that helps an easier transition. And finally, I know that you're working on some of your appraisal stuff too. So, you're quite a unique mixture of things, so to speak, because your clients are, they get a
Yeah, that's
mixed
true.
bag of experience, right? Which
That's
is not
true.
usual.
Yeah, a good point that you brought up. I also have been juggling with the AIC, the agency, which is I mean that's the association which handles all the appraisals
Hmm.
in Canada, basically in North America. So yeah, I've studied, got my license there as well, and uh, that brings an asset, obviously, for any real estate transaction because I'm able to know much more of in depth
Hmm.
what's happening with the market.
I think even some realtors watching this video might be good to give you a call just to tap into some of the architecture and appraisal side of the business, because a lot of people, to be honest with you, they just don't have that lens on things. They know real estate, maybe they have a property. And now with
Mhm.
the low barrier to entry, they're now starting to advise clients with millions
Of
of
course,
dollars worth of properties. So
I'll be happy
it's
to help.
really
Yeah.
refreshing to see that, even in a part-time capacity, you bring such rich experience. As you know, with the low barrier of entry, typically this type of experience is not a luxury that a lot of
Mhm.
real estate clients get to experience in terms of competence with their advisor. So that's great. Now let's pivot for Rose a little bit into, what sort of made you join Scale Your Results, right? It's actually pretty. I'll let you tell the story, but your first interaction, we had just such a
It was
phenomenal
serendipity, I
connection,
would say. Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
I'll let you kind of speak your portion. Like, what made you join our service and our program?
Uh, if you remember, we crossed paths when we were holding a seminar in Toronto. Uh, I was really drawn to what you were offering in terms of coaching because it felt right for me, being coming as a newbie into real estate. So I thought I would need some solid launch pad for me to
Mhm.
be able to operate in this industry. So yeah, that's how I was drawn to you. But then yeah, I heard attended the seminar. I liked you as a person. I liked what you were offering. That's how I joined. And over the years, it has definitely helped me a lot grow myself. And I'm not sure if you get this often, but the unsaid thing about joining you or having been working on a few stuff together gives me that the, the because you're a coach, so you have lots of contacts, obviously. So that also helps me to leverage
Right.
those contacts
Yeah.
uh, with more experienced real estate agents and yeah, and become a part of those collaborations. So that's also something which is very helpful and unique with you.
I mean, what a beautiful way that you set up your business, man. We can go in depth with that, but full-time job, part-time agent, all these listings, which we'll talk about in a moment, but also like a lot of collaboration in terms of co-listings where you're leveraging other people's expertise and time,
Yeah,
yet, you're collecting a substantial paycheck at the end of the day. Like it's a very intricate way of being able to set a scalable business, right?
that's true.
Because now you've duplicated yourself with more experienced versions of yourself in
Mhm.
10, 12 different areas. So you're
Yeah,
literally like managing a team, so to speak, but you're managing now a referral network. And I think
yeah.
people watching this should really give you a call because you've cracked the code of
Hmm.
how to earn a lot, but also be able to, like, you have a family, right? Like you have a full-time job and now you're performing very high in the real estate business, yet you're able to find time to do all of this. And a lot of people listening to that are like, well, it's not possible for me. It is if you set up the business properly, right?
Yeah,
So
you have to make avatars of yourselves with different
absolutely, yeah,
teams.
yeah,
Yeah.
man. So why don't we jump into that since it's sort of a segue into my next question, which is how has it been, being a family man, being an investor with a couple of properties in your portfolio, studying for your appraisal license, and also acting in a high capacity as a real estate agent. Like, what does that look like for you? How have you been able to manage all of this?
To be honest, I mean, the balancing part time and full time has been difficult, no doubts about that. But then I give mm, most of the credits to my wife, who's very supportive, and has also been supporting some admin work, of course. Uh, so it's all in the house till
Yeah.
now. And but as I said before, I've tried to create a niche for myself because I've been focusing on pre-con assignments because that's something which I understand and I want to further develop on it, uh, as well as leases because I live downtown and there's a
Mhm.
lot of flux in the city. So
Mhm.
I could cash on to it because I live downtown. I could just walk around. I don't have to be. I mean, I could be driven. I use Uber because it's hard to find parkings very good for leasing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if there's this, if all the conditions of the client are met, I obviously do not work with every client, but then if the clients are good enough, uh, so I take them on and show them the properties downtown.
And for
That's
you,
also.
leases have been quite a good investment of your time, right? Because the sales cycle is a bit shorter than regular buy sell, which we'll discuss in a moment. And also the velocity is higher, so you're able to really pad on to the cash flow. So over the past couple months since you've dove into leases, like how
Mhm.
many of those clients have you helped out?
I think for the past few months, I've helped out 15 to 20 clients
Wow.
in the past 2 months, I would say,
Yeah.
which has
So it adds
resulted.
up,
Yeah, yeah,
right? Yeah.
it adds up. Yeah, so yeah, it adds up to. I hope the gross earnings would be about 10,000 in the past 2.5 months.
I mean, that's
Uh,
more than most
but
agents are making right now.
yeah, some is in the pipeline also, yeah,
So let
which
let's
hasn't
get
come yet.
amazing, awesome, man. So we'll pivot into my next question, which I'll actually flip it a little bit, and I'll because we're talking about business and volume and GCI.
Mhm.
Let's go into so 10K out of the lease deals that you've done over the past couple of months, but I know that you've also done a pre-construction deal with a pretty heavy developer, and I know you already have a lot of assignments under contract as well. Can you talk about that pre-construction deal?
Yeah, I mean that was again a good one, a challenging one. I secured that deal last month, and the client was really collaborative on that. So I, I really it was a learning curve for me. Now with that encouragement, because it closed pretty easily without any hassle because the developer was also cooperative. Everybody wants to sell these days from the perspective of developers. So they were fine with the incentives and also yeah, it went well, and that gave me a good amount of reason to move forward with these pre-construction clients and also assignments. So I was able to secure a few assignments. The clients were interested to sell their assignment properties in the last, I think, five or six of them,
Hmm.
still in the pipeline. One which would be signing today. Uh, so yeah, let's hope this
Yeah, man. I mean,
materializes into
that's
something.
incredible results, bro, because in the past couple of months, like I'm just doing the math there based on the numbers that you've shared with me, but that's a $35,000 paycheck overall for that pre-construction deal, right? And then you've already done over 10,000 for your leases so far. I mean, obviously pre-construction can be paid out in chunks, but overall gross that's the amount that you've done, which is like, around 45,000 in the past couple of months, GCI, which for a part-time agent, I mean, that is pretty incredible. And on top of that, you have 4 or 5 assignments, and you've shared the specifics of these assignments. Like some of them are actually very well structured in terms of price to be able to move within the next couple of months, right? So
Hmm.
you're
Hmm.
potentially looking at, close to a six-figure month and just the six-figure year in the back half of the year. Like really your action started, over the past couple of months in summertime. So as a part-time agent, you stand to probably do a little over six figures before the end of this year. And I think that is a very, very incredible case study, because again, when you say six figures, full time agent, 40 hours, that's a different story. When you say six figures, part time agent, 20 hours, that is like in most cases almost impossible. And you've been able to crack the code on that. So good on you. And
Yeah,
I think
no, that's
really
good.
those
Yeah, then,
partnerships.
mhm. Yeah, and the partnerships which you have helped with, that has also been, I mean, incredibly nice because those connections, you know them. I mean, there's always a factor of knowing and connecting to compatible people, which
Mhm.
you're always have been very
I mean, that's
successful
what
at.
we do. I talk to a lot of agents, and
I know.
luckily, we have over 80,000 agents in the Toronto real estate board alone. So
Yeah, yeah.
matchmaking becomes a little bit easy in my realm of things. Awesome, man. So, last question I have for you, Feroz. I know you have a super busy schedule, so we'll keep it short. What's the one thing that you've learned that's helped you expand and grow your business? What's that one thing that you've learned from me or our system that's really helped you propel your business to the next level?
I would say balancing your business goals with the
Mm-hmm.
client's best interest. So sometimes I mean, we have to focus on the client's best interest, how they think of the scenarios, and uh, I mean, when advising, I took this from Daniel Mack that I mean, he suggested focusing on the benefits in the from the perspective of the client.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm suggesting or advising anything to them, it should come from a sense that they should understand how it would make sense to them or how it would benefit them rather than uh, this becomes easier for us. I mean, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we just tell them it's even for, I mean, pre-con or leases or assignments, if I have to push for a lower price, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the reason for listing it on a lower price is that not that I would sell it, because they would be able to sell it or get more conversations in
Right.
on that product.
So
So
really explaining that value proposition, why you're asking for what you're asking for.
that's true. Yeah. And again, balancing my business was with the client's interest. I mean, if I would just worry about my business, I would like to list it as high as possible, or I mean, which is not feasible. So I
Yeah,
have to,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And then you have a bunch of listings that you're not even going to move. But what you've done
true.
very carefully is set expectations with your upcoming listings that you're signing, few of them that you've already signed this week. which is crazy, man. Like as a new agent, the type of results that you're accomplishing are phenomenal. And one of the other things that I noticed with new agents, that they don't have the capacity to negotiate, but you are new to real estate, but you're not new to the world of business. You are very articulate with your conversations, and one of the things that I admire about you is you are resilient, right? And you are persistent, and your follow-up is some of the best that I've seen in working with hundreds of agents over the past few years. So I think all qualities that if a new agent was to look themselves in the mirror, to really reflect on whether or not A, like you mentioned, am I looking out for the best interest of the client? B, how am I marrying their objectives based on what I'm trying to articulate by asking the right questions? And C, am I giving up too soon? Right? Like that is probably the biggest one, which is how quickly did I wave the white flag? How many times did I decide to follow up over and over and over again? Like Mr. Dr. Saba, whose name we're not going to mention, in one of the conversations you told me about, which is now like the 15th, 16th follow up, right?
Yes,
And it's still going to continue happening because that's what we're in the business for, is to create conversations and hopefully convert them into appointments if
that's
we're
true.
following those
I
two
mean, it's
components of it.
like a relationship we built over the years.
Hmm.
Because with him also, he's now initially that was only a formal conversation. Now it's kind of a friendly conversation. But
Yeah,
so
yeah.
obviously,
Now the salesman barrier is off, right? And now
yeah,
it's a friendship. And that's who you end up, and that's a beautiful way of looking at it because in this business, our friends become our clients and our clients become our friends. So if
true.
we're just hanging out with our friends all day long and making money out of it, like what else can we ask for,
That's
right?
true. I mean, it gets easier. It's
Yeah, yeah.
definitely easier than doing business with a direct client than a friend, right? So
Absolutely. Well, Feroz, I appreciate you for your time, brother. It is so exciting to see that in a part-time capacity, you're about to hit a six-figure year.
thanks to you.
Knock on wood, that ends up actually becoming a reality. And I'm so excited to have you now as a case study because this is inspirational for the new agent that's about to hang the bucket to stick to the core, do the work necessary, and inevitably you will see results. So, Feroz, thank you for coming on today. I really, really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Sam.
Thanks. Take care.